By the way, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm.
Hey, Herb, it's your cousin, Lyle. Lyle Monganus? You know that new podcast you were looking for? Well, take a listen to this.
All right. People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here. Too many 40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry. It's going to change. Be nice.
That ain't working.
I want you to be nice.
That ain't working.
And you'll both be nice.
So much as my wife was a giant. But,
I want you to be nice until it's time to not be nice.
No, I'm pretty sure that's the way you do it.
The Rees Company.
May as well. It's been a while, Chris.
Yeah.
So let's invite the folks to crack open a tepid Genesee and watch the pictures as they travel through their neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we're drinking the new Genesee Dark, I guess it is.
Yeah, these are the perils of a green screen. But we are enjoying it. Man, we have a scorcher of an action-packed movie of the week this time.
Yeah.
Very excited about that, and we'll get to that in just a bit. But first, I have to say, Chris, as surprised I am that we used this show to discuss, analyze, and share with the folks classic made-for-TV motion pictures of the 70s and beyond, I'm even more surprised that another focus has emerged.
Yeah.
Another subject matter has wedged its way into our format, and that is, of course, Pittsburgh Public Access Television.
Yeah, I guess the community that surrounds Pittsburgh Public Access Television. Because,
It's its own universe.
Yeah. We've watched podcasts and other things, but yeah.
Now, if you've seen our coverage of Ralph Williams, Pittsburgh's Forgotten Son, you may have heard mention of his co-host on shows of his like Talkin' Wrestling and Sports Corner.
Well, his current co-host, because we saw one from back in the day, back in the 90s, who was just fantastic, but never heard from again.
We're trying, Chris. We might be hearing from him soon.
Yeah, I believe you tracked him down, sort of. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the co-host he works with these days is a man called Smokin' Jim Frazier. And he has his own show on Pittsburgh Community Television, and it's called First and 10 with Smokin' Jim. Now, we're going to watch some of this.
Yeah. Now, I believe you told me he was a former NFL scout, and that's why...
Or current,
well,
I'm not sure. He's made mention of that being his profession.
Okay.
Now,
really? Are we believing that?
I don't know. We can check references, I guess, at some point. But for this point, I'm going to say he's an honest man. In this installment, and this is from this past spring, Smokin' Jim chats with a young woman whose name, it becomes apparent, he does not know. We're just going to let the first several minutes play. And, Chris, if you want to pause and comment, we can do that, because I think there's plenty here worthy of mention. Let's check out First and 10 with Smokin' Jim Frazier.
Hey everybody, welcome to First and 10 with Smokin' Jim, and I tell you what, I am so excited about this interview. I've interviewed Coach Mike Tomlin, I've interviewed Antonio Brown, I've interviewed Mike Tyson, but I'm more excited about this interview now. I got Calendar Model, but I'm not going to introduce her. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Plus, he's got Calendar Model.
Yeah. Not a calendar model.
No.
Not her name.
Right.
Just, I've got Calendar Model.
Calendar Model. So he asks her to introduce herself, and the reason why is he has no idea what her name is.
Right.
Okay, let's see this.
Please tell all your 300,000 fans your name and a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone.
Look how beautiful you are on TV.
My name's Nisa. Yeah, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, that's good. You're a calendar model. You like to travel, and you got roots in New York, but you actually was raised in southwestern Pennsylvania.
Yep.
What is that like to be able to travel to places like Atlanta?
I
and
love
some
it.
other-
I definitely.
Can we pause it, First of all, if he were an NFL scout, he would be very familiar with what it's like to travel to places such as L.A., I think he said.
Atlanta. No,
Atlanta.
not
Oh, yeah.
L.A. Atlanta, Chris.
You know, exotic Atlanta. I'm really doubting that he was ever an NFL scout. But
and also it becomes obvious that Atlanta is the only place this woman has ever traveled. Because Atlanta keeps coming up.
okay.
All right, let's hear one
Also,
more.
I'm wondering what calendar she was in, Steve. The Women of Walmart, perhaps?
Okay, can we say this? Okay, let's get this out there early.
Okay.
Okay. She's not an unattractive woman.
She's reasonably attractive.
Yes, she has good qualities. I'm sure she's a very nice gal, and has a long career ahead of her in the calendar modeling field.
Sure.
If there is such a thing anymore, isn't it mostly dogs now?
I believe if you hung up a calendar of women at your workplace, you would be immediately fired.
Right.
They would escort you off the premises if you did that.
Maybe that's the strategy behind hiring her, because they figure, well, not attractive enough to titillate. I think she looks like is this just paying tribute to other secretaries in other buildings? Is that what this is? Because we get behind that.
She does look like a secretary.
It's showing women in a professional setting, which
Yeah.
is exactly what the image, the courted image is these days.
Sure, probably
Yeah.
every other month is a guy in a suit.
Right. But let's face it, let's say it, she's like a 4.
Sure. Well, we'll explore that a little bit later in the show. I have some visual aids and everything. So,
Okay,
yeah.
fantastic. But I also want to say she also looks like no. Let's keep going. Let's hear a little more.
I do love
She's a
it.
very nice gal.
Sure. She seems pleasant, although she does not seem like a good conversationalist.
I don't think she knows why she's here.
Right. He asked her to describe herself, and she said, "My name is," not even her last name. She gave her first name and then ran out of things to say.
All right, let's continue.
It's fun. I like the experiences, the different people, the places and things that you get to do. It's fun. It's amazing.
Now, you're a beautiful woman. When did you really know that, hey, I have what it takes. I got the height, I got the looks, I got the body, I got what it takes to be a model?
It took me a while. Like, when I was younger, a lot of people, I used to get compliments a lot. I mean, I was young, so I just didn't really think anything of it. But once I got out of school, that's when I realized, like, I have potential to do a lot. So,
Well, we got some bloggers coming in. Okay.
Pause. Okay, we got some bloggers coming in. I don't think he knows what that means. I think
No.
these are comments or perhaps tweets as he's doing the show live.
Right.
Comments are coming in, but he thinks these are bloggers.
Right. Like people are blogging in real time, and somehow he's reading all of them. That makes no sense.
Yes. Now, let's see his reaction to what he's seeing coming in. I can't imagine what these comments actually are. Let's hear.
Hey, listen, we know she's beautiful. If you have some questions for our guests, have some questions. It's not a date show, so we got bloggers coming in. There's no questions I can ask yet, but continue to blog. Have some questions that we can actually answer. But of all the places that you've
What could those have possibly been?
Probably
I think we can imagine some of those.
lewd. I would say lewd.
Yeah. So very lewd.
Yeah.
Okay.
been able to travel to, what's your favorite place so far?
my
Your top
favorite. Top two.
What her favorite?
I would have to say Atlanta is my favorite.
two? Okay.
We were only down there for a little bit, but
Okay, pause. Yeah, one place she's traveled. She went down there for a weekend or something to take some photographs, and she had fun.
Sure.
And I believe that's the extent of this gal's career.
Well, she was asked to name a second place. Let's hear what she said.
Well, let's hear if she says, because what I believe is that Jim becomes gets Aspergery
Oh, no.
and decides he has to go into detail about his preferred travel destination or his way of traveling. Let's hear a little more.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Could you see yourself relocating or having a second home in Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the weather's nice down there, too, so
Yes.
that's always a plus.
Yes, I've gone to Atlanta plenty of times. Now, me personally, I'm the biggest square in the country. You know, I'm the biggest square in the country. And my vacations, I love going on a cruise.
Oh, yes.
The cruises are the most fun because once you pay for the cruise, you can take $15 with you and come back with 10.
Yep.
Easy, because you're not allowed to tip. Everything that's here.
That is so false. You are absolutely encouraged to tip. In fact, it's very much expected, which makes me wonder how despised Smoking Jim is on these cruise ships.
Do you think, like his co-host Ralph, he has also eaten things that are not edible? Things that made their way onto his plate that are not generally considered foodstuffs?
Yeah.
In the States is on a cruise ship. Nightclubs, bars, casinos, gyms,
Wow.
you know, entertainment, it's all there. The cruise ships that I travel on are $1 billion. Yeah, 900,000 and up, so it's really nice. And I love going to Las Vegas, even though
About the value of the ships he travels on.
Well, I'm glad that he clarified that $1 billion is more than 900,000.
900,000 and up, or
Yeah.
900. Jeez. Yeah, this is impossible to follow.
I'm just a sports gambler. I don't do the casinos and all that, but I like how beautiful Vegas is. You can
Right.
just stand there and just look at it the whole time. So you haven't been on a cruise yet, or you haven't been on Vegas yet. Is that
No.
something that's on your bucket
It
list?
definitely is. As soon as you said Vegas, I was like, yeah,
5.
that's definitely on my bucket list. I want to go there so bad. There's always something to
Where does she want to go? Did you catch that?
On a cruise in Vegas. She wants to go to Vegas.
Okay.
do there.
Yeah.
Always.
Now, I know you grew up, part of your childhood was in New York. I'm not sure when you've been back, but that's the biggest city, I think, in the United States.
Yes.
Is it crazy there or what?
Can we pause? Jim, can you fact check that? I want to know if New York is, in fact, the biggest city in the United States, because that sounds kind of suspicious to me. I've never heard that mentioned before.
Smoking Jim. All right.
From what I remember, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I was kind of young, so I really wasn't into like as much as I would be now.
Okay.
So it is though. It's busy.
Yeah.
You think traffic here is bad?
Okay.
Go to New York and drive.
Well, thanks, everybody. We have a few more blogs coming in. This is First and 10 with Smoking Jim. I got Calendar Model with us.
All right.
Calendar model. Pause, Jim.
Again. Now, there's two possibilities here, Steve. Either he's just a misogynist who doesn't care what her name is, she's just a pretty girl to him, or he's so flummoxed by her presence that he can't think straight. I don't know.
Well, there's a third possibility.
What's that?
Dumb.
Yeah, or he could just be, I don't know. I'm kind of, to be honest, Steve, I'm kind of digging this whole idea of this what does he call her?
Calendar model.
Calendar model thing. I think we ought to, where's Calendar Boy? Calendar Boy. Oh, man, what is this? What do you got me doing this time? You're Calendar Boy. Show some leg, Calendar Boy.
Can we go full screen on this?
There you go. There you go. Show us some leg. All right, Calendar Boy. Man, this is demeaning. Yeah, all right. Well, this is going to be a new thing on the show now, Steve.
All right, Calendar Boy.
We have 20 blog questions, and there's none that we can ask on TV. So listen, again, I know she's beautiful. I know you don't see somebody like her every day, but this is a show. You know.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I do. I feel fairly certain I see someone like her every day. And there isn't one comment there that he can read on the air? What kind of fans does he have?
No idea what's going on over here. I do think, I don't know if is it possible? No, I don't think this is, because he would know her name. She reminds me, her level of, I don't know if level is the right word, but her attractiveness.
Yeah.
Appears to be that of, you see this a lot in car dealership ads.
Oh, sure.
Where the owner of the dealership,
yeah,
his niece, is beautiful to him and beautiful to the family,
right?
But she's not so much to the general public, or
I'm following.
She's not worthy of being in a car commercial,
right?
But she's in his car commercial, because that's the best the family can do.
Yeah, I mean, models cost money, so if you can cast your relatives, that saves you money. Yeah,
but they do this thing where they say, "Oh, well, we should put Antonia in this because she's so beautiful." I said, "No, she's beautiful compared to you dregs."
Yeah,
and I wonder if that's the connection Smokin' Jim has with Calendar Model.
It's a relative of his,
a relative
or a friend,
or a relative of a friend.
Yeah. Do you remember when Wendy's put Dave Thomas's daughter in the commercials?
The actual Wendy?
Yeah. And then people were not so enthused, so they had to get a hotter, younger redhead to come in and pretend to be Wendy. I don't know why I brought that up.
Well, no, it is similar.
Yeah.
People should revolt when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so
we don't want to get shut down by the FCC.
No, leave it go.
FCC. Anybody that's seen my sports shows, I've been suspended many times by the FCC, and I don't want to get suspended again. But I think we're going.
Now, could that be true?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that that's the case. I don't think they monitor public access.
I also don't think you get suspended by the FCC.
Right. You get fined.
Yeah, you get fined. Your station gets fined.
And
the station may suspend you.
Yeah, they fire you because you cost them money.
Yes.
Yeah. Unless you're Howard Stern, you get fired when you cost the radio station money or TV station.
But yeah, this is definitely not something that occurs. So yeah, that was First and 10 with Smokin' Jim Frazier. I think that's all we need to see. We'll check in with him at some point, not tonight, but we'll see what he's up to.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get an update on Calendar Model, too.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. Calendar Model. Shall we do our movie of the week, Chris?
Absolutely.
Okay. Shall we hit the intro?
With our new intro.
It's 8 o'clock. Have your children done their homework?
Our movie of the week of this week is Death Car on the Freeway. It aired on September 25th, 1979 on the Columbia Broadcasting System. All-star cast.
Yeah, we missed a week, so I don't remember actually who was in this, but I do remember there was a lot of people like, oh, look, it's so-and-so.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to the folks as they arrive as we watch the clips. Yeah. Some of them we're not going to get to. This is how star-studded this film is.
Yeah.
At the end, I'll mention the notable cameos and folks who acted in it who we've not seen. This was directed by Hal Needham.
I don't know that name.
You know his work.
Okay.
This is just 2 years after he did something called Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, okay.
He directed that.
Very funny movie.
And he found blockbuster big screen success with that. Yeah.
That's the Jackie Gleason one, right?
Jackie Gleason, yeah. And Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, very funny.
Sally Field. Paul Williams. Also a star-studded film, now that I think of it.
Yeah.
So that might have been his method of working. He would hire all top people who I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
Chris.
I guess.
Trying to make this sound like a better movie than we'll find out it is.
I mean, I guess that's a directorial.
And I don't know why. I have no dog in this race.
I guess that's a directorial decision to spend all your money on the cast, and then not so much on the stunts.
Well, Hal Needham was once a stuntman himself.
Oh, okay. Oh, so then he's well qualified to make these types of films that we, Smokey and the Bandit and this thing we're about to watch.
Yeah. So, I guess we should dive right in.
Okay.
Dive right in to the clips of this motion picture.
Yeah.
Because the film does that as well. In an early sequence, we see a young actress, and she's making her way to a TV shoot. But she faces adversity.
Yeah, I think you need to.
She's trying to get there as quickly as possible because she may be late.
Okay.
She does not pay attention to what's going on around her.
Yeah, people don't pay attention all the time.
Yeah,
to what's going on around.
That makes it difficult to get things done on time or at the precise moment where things are, okay, Jim is finally sitting down. Okay. Let's see what happens as this woman makes her way to work.
Pause it real quick. I don't mean to interrupt the action, Steve, but I have two things to point out.
Okay.
Number one, my dad had one of those vans, one of those Dodge vans when I was growing up. And he took the seats out in the back and laid down shag carpet.
Oh, boy.
And put in a nice wood paneling with stereo speakers in it. Very, very cool van.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, and it also had side pipes, as the mufflers on the side. Very cool.
Nice.
And also, it should be remarked that this I find this woman to be very attractive, so much so that I looked up who she was and found out that she was on Dallas for like 7 seasons or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll get more into that later. But I just want to point out, I thought she was attractive.
Star-studded.
Yeah.
Let's continue. All right.
Yep. Well, she survived.
Yeah, she's brought to safety.
Yeah.
And this incident mirrors one from 6 months earlier. A woman played by Dinah Shore. She was run off the road by a man she was certain was trying to kill her. She also survived the attack. A young TV reporter named Jan Clausen notices the parallels between these two events and wonders if they might be linked. So here, she presents this theory to Police Lieutenant Peter Graves.
Yes.
Miss Clausen, we appreciate your interest, but I think we're talking about two separate incidents that have no connection.
Lieutenant Haller, I called Becky. They both said positively that van had one-way glass.
But Lynn Bernheimer told the investigating officer the van was black.
But look at the way the two attacks happened.
Attacks is your word, not ours.
In both instances, then, okay? The women were trying to get off the freeway, pulled in front of the van.
A van.
All right, a van. Then proceeded to prevent them from taking the off-ramp they were headed for, and then went on to force them both off the road.
Well, that's what those two ladies said. We have witnesses who aren't so sure. And remember that Lynn Bernheimer's accident happened almost 6 months ago. I mean, her memory has to be hazy now. And Miss Lyons is, she's an actress.
Oh, wait.
Well, there you go. She's an actress, so who can believe one of those?
Yeah, she was very theatrical when they interviewed her on the news after the episode, whatever that was. And so they didn't really believe her. But that guy that was just talking, he tried to get to the bottom of it when he asked her if she'd ever seen a grown man naked. He was in Airplane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, with that kind of attitude from law enforcement, it's no surprise that another woman soon finds herself in peril. Let's see this.
Unsafe at any speed.
Right, I'll say. It should be noted, Chris, that this film was made during the 1970s energy crisis.
Yeah.
When a lot of people were forced, they were forced to switch from
One-way
gasoline
glass.
to enriched uranium. And also during that scene and all the others, when the driver of the van is on the attack, we saw a close-up of his stereo speaker. Now,
Yeah.
I don't think we're hearing the music he's playing out of that, which is an odd choice.
Wait, I'm not following you.
The chase music is chase music.
Yeah.
Hollywood chase music.
You only hear the music when they show his stereo.
Yes.
You only hear the music that he's playing inside his van when they're inside his van.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
and
not-
it's
yeah.
odd that that's the only time you hear that because much is about to be made of his choice of road tunes.
Yeah.
So his latest victim does die from her injuries, but not before having a deathbed chat with Jan, the reporter. Let's see this.
Music. Did I say about the music?
Music? What kind of music? Mrs. Custon, where was the music coming from?
The van. It was country. A fiddler. It's a crazy kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll hear that music again in another clip.
We will, yeah.
You can judge for yourself. It sounded nothing like what they were making it out to be.
No, it sounded like possibly a fiddle being played through a wah-wah pedal.
It sounded like MIDI music, like early MIDI music. But I know what they were going for here, Steve. In 1979, I'm sure you do too.
Right.
That was the year Charlie Daniels Band released "The Devil Went Down to Georgia" with their crazy fiddling playing. So they're trying to capitalize on that with this devil fiddle music, which is just some electronic noise. It's nothing.
It doesn't sound anything like fiddling. And we will hear the actual music he's playing through his speakers.
Yeah, you will hear more of it later. But I think they missed an opportunity here, Steve, because another great song from 1979 was Rupert Holmes' The Pina Colada Song. And how much more fun would this movie have been had we heard the Pina Colada Song while these attacks were going on?
Yeah.
It would have just made a much better movie. In fact, I'd like to hear that song right now. I know we can't play it because of our own copyright restrictions, but maybe we can get somebody to sing it. Hey, Calendar Boy! Calendar Boy! Man, what is it this time? We want you to sing Rupert Holmes' The Pina Colada Song. Oh, come on, man. No, just do it. If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. What are you, crying? There's no crying for Cabana Boy. And, man, you guys are awful. I quit.
Cabana Boy?
Well, did I call him Cabana Boy instead of
did.
Calendar Boy? Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Well, you're confusing the poor boy.
Yeah. That was awkward, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why do people keep storming out of our shows, Steve? Are we that big of assholes?
Oh, ask around. I don't know. So,
Are we hard to work with? Are we?
all right. Stop. So, after this conversation about the music, an incredulous Jan makes a phone call. She's the reporter, Jan. She makes a phone call because she can't believe what she's just heard from this dying victim.
Wait a minute, Lynn. This latest girl says she heard him playing music when he attacked her. It must have been coming from his stereo if she could hear it. It was country music with a weird kind of fiddle thing. Do you remember hearing anything like that?
Did you say music? No, honey,
Country music with a weird kind of fiddle thing.
Yeah, I've never heard country music with a fiddle in it.
Who is she calling?
She was calling actually Dinah Shore, who was a previous alleged victim of this highway terror.
Oh, right. She was the original one. Okay. Yeah, because I didn't know why it looked like she was in a sporting goods store or something. It was confusing.
Yeah, I think she's being called at work.
Okay.
So Jan, the reporter, she's satisfied that all of these highway incidents are related. Same perpetrator, and this perpetrator has murderous intentions.
You know what usually helps in a case like this is a license plate number.
All these witnesses, everybody's seeing all this craziness take place.
Nobody can get a license plate number.
A packed Southern California freeway.
Yeah.
Nobody has a pen nearby.
Yep.
Now, we do see him switching license plates.
Oh, really?
At some point.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
There was but they could have gotten a better description of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Especially when it's obviously dented. He's not having it fixed every night after he comes back from one of his jaunts, if you want to call it that.
Right.
There are ways to identify the victim, not the victim, the perpetrator and his vehicle, but nobody sees any of this. All they know is they heard this strange, but it was country music, but it had a fiddle in it.
Yeah, I mean, if I heard that noise, I'd be like, I don't know, I think he was killing cats in there. I don't know what was going on.
This did not sound like any country music I've ever heard. So Jan, she's the reporter. She's ready to go to air this very night to warn women traveling alone to avoid the freeways of Southern California.
Well, that's practical advice.
Practical indeed.
Yeah. There's been 3 deaths caused by this man in the last 6 months. So don't drive. Versus, how many people were killed by not wearing a seatbelt that day?
But this is the era of exploding vehicles.
Right, yeah.
Weapons-grade plutonium they were putting in cars to get around, whatever the first letter of their license plate was in order to get gas. They didn't want to deal with that, so just shoot me up with whatever was in the Enola Gay. Okay, but as she and Jan and news director Frank Gorshin, they're about to find out, Jan may have waited too long to break this story. Let's see this.
Exclusive.
Jan, hold it. Jerry, give me KTNS on monitor 3 down here. You better take a look at this, Jan.
The Fiddler, so dubbed because of his habit of playing wild fiddle music in the course of his attacks, appears to choose as his victims women traveling alone on the freeway. Remember, when it happens, you'll hear it first on KTNS.
What's this? Did she get scooped?
She did. By a rival station.
Oh.
And that station also branded the killer the Fiddler. It reminds me of another story where a man strangled 8 women to death with violin strings. Do you remember what the media called him?
I do not.
The Highway Marauder.
Yeah.
So here's a death montage, and this is where we'll hear in detail the music he's playing.
Great.
Here's a death montage where we hear this alleged fiddle music. Yeah, so that's the music they're saying is weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird country music, but with a fiddle.
Yeah, we left out the part where he ran into the Hindenburg.
So Jan is now joined. She's committed to telling this story regardless of whether the rival station.
Yeah, and also her boss is telling her not to. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. We're focusing on one aspect of the film, but as you get to the end, you realize that it's really focused on like a women's lib story type of thing. And in '79, I think that is when they were trying to pass the Equal Rights Amendment,
Right.
which the unanimously male United States said, yeah, we're not gonna do that. But this is mostly like a women's lib type of thing. We're focusing on the Fiddler story more than that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, Jan is now joined on the set because, as I said, she's continuing to tell this story to the people of Los Angeles.
Right.
She's joined on the new set by a profiler, a criminal profiler.
Yeah.
So let's see what the profiler has to say about the Fiddler's victims, something they have in common.
Themselves. We already know that the victims are all women traveling the freeway alone. We also know that they were all reasonably attractive.
Gee, I don't know, Steve. Usually when you call someone reasonably attractive, that's not much of a compliment, is it? I mean, I believe we called calendar model reasonably attractive.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's like what she's trying to say is you wouldn't kick these girls out of bed, but you also wouldn't go to a lot of effort to get them in there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Like these girls are like mainline 4s, but Marcus Hook 7s.
Okay. Well, that's
you got me there.
Global medium, Chris.
People Philadelphia.
All right.
Let me shoot straight with you.
Okay.
Some of these girls might be dudes in drag, but they're pulling it off. These girls fell off the ugly tree. They only hit 1 or 2 branches on the way down. How can I put this in a way you'd understand, Steve?
All right.
These girls are all a few cheeseburgers shy of chubby.
Oh, okay. Understood.
If these girls had a beauty pageant, Donald Trump wouldn't show up to harass them, but your homely neighbor would. Make no mistake, these girls put the in amazing. I had this chart here that I made.
Oh.
Jim, if you could bring that up. See, here we have a normal distribution of the attractiveness of women. You see you have Kate Upton there on the very right edge, representing a very lovely woman. Sure. The average woman, of course, would be right in the middle. And there to the left, you see around the 35th percentile, freeway fiddler victims.
Yes, that is the reasonably attractive area of the graph.
Yeah. Well, now we have a profile of how does this help find him? He likes 4s. Well, that's going to narrow it down.
Oh, man.
Still nothing on that license plate, but...
So, as the body count rises, Lieutenant Peter Graves has some interesting words for women who'd like to remain safe. He has some advice for them. Let's hear that.
I'd like to say that the public can play an important role in cases like this, especially in a preventive sense.
What do you mean by that, Lieutenant?
Well, women especially can help by not making themselves candidates for the fiddler. You might be interested to know that between them, the victims have accumulated 10 moving violations in the last 3 years.
Lieutenant.
And one of them, Becky Lyons, has had her license suspended on at least 1 occasion.
Lieutenant, are you saying that it was somehow these women's fault that they were attacked by the fiddler?
What I'm saying is we have a situation
women.
where women must be aware of their actions.
It sounds to me...
They drive like women. Thought I was being pretty clear about that.
So we're going to jump ahead quite a bit here, but Jan gets fired from the station. And this is after she delivers an editorial about the auto industry and what she perceives is their role in creating the fiddler.
Yeah, she says that they encourage people to drive fast, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they make cars that go 100 miles an hour, and that's not necessary on an American highway.
Yeah.
And basically, they're giving psychopaths like the fiddler kind of a medium to commit murder.
Okay.
So since car manufacturers and dealerships, they buy a lot of airtime at the station where she works. So the parent company wants her gone from the local news. And she would have had a point in her editorial if she focused on the industry's lack of concern for their cars, evidently space shuttling everyone's Challenger at the slightest hint of contact.
Yeah.
That would have been she would have made an excellent point.
Yeah.
To have taken that route. So Jan gets a call from a member of a car club called the Street Phantoms.
Sure.
And these are guys who engage in street racing. And they feel as though her editorial vilified people like them who have no intent to harm anyone. And they resent the comparison, the implicit comparison to people like the fiddler. The caller invites Jan to visit their club for further information. There's someone there who thinks they can help her track down the fiddler. So let's see this exchange.
You know? So don't say that the fiddler could come from a club like this, because he couldn't.
I don't think I said anything like that. I'm sorry if you mistook me.
He used to park his ride out by the junkyard. He'd come and stand around like a kid trying to get in the game, you know?
Maury's the only one I remembers him. I mean, I don't even remember him.
John something.
Yeah, John something. So there you go, Jan.
Yeah.
Hey, is this a reward cash by any chance? Because I'm between banks. Oh, you know what? Might have been Mike. Jose? I'm not. Look, don't. It's just one. It's Mike, John, or Jose. So Maury, he directs Jan to a guy called Eddie, and he gives her the name John Evans as being the fiddler.
Yeah.
John Evans, which is the Los Angeles Angels of Christian names. Eddie also provides an address for John Evans in La Crescenta. So Jan goes over there and meets Harriet Nelson because there's a boat show going on in the driveway. No, actually, Harriet Nelson plays John's landlady. She's very cooperative and lets Jan enter John's living quarters. Well, John's not home.
Yeah, he skipped town, as it were.
Right. And when she enters that living space, the walls are covered with, I guess, would you call it memorabilia?
Is it newspaper clippings of his crimes?
Yes, and also photos of, I guess, all the cars that he's run off the road and that sort of thing. So it's apparent that John Evans is indeed the fiddler. So immediately, Jan calls the police. They show up at the scene, and Peter Graves even apologizes for doubting her.
Right.
Which is, that's a nice thing for him to do.
Sure.
But although they now know who the fiddler is, there's no sign of him. So Jan heads home, or at least tries to, but predictably, this occurs.
Now, can we pause it? Now we can see, much like my dad, he's added flames to his van.
Yeah,
so,
the car has been repainted.
Yeah.
I guess to disguise it. And then, of course, his van explodes.
Yes, I've heard if you hit a wooden road closed sign, your car will explode like that. Yeah. Now, were you ending it there?
Yeah.
Can we let it roll till the end?
That's all we have, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go back to where what we just saw. There you go, right there.
Oh, wait, this is a good place to go back to because we did see, well, we didn't see, but in the movie, some guy volunteers to give her defensive driving lessons.
Yes, and that guy is played by Hal Needham.
Okay.
That I reckon.
Oh, really? Interesting. Yeah. So that's why she's able to pull off this maneuver.
Yeah.
Here that saves her in the end. Yeah. Maybe somebody had left a couple of tons of dynamite right at the end of the way.
That's always possible.
Yeah. This is, yeah, you can pause it there. Pause it, Jim, and then go back like 3 or 4 seconds so we can see her reaction.
Yeah, let's see. And then she does her take. Take the camera.
Yeah, there we go. Pause it. Yeah, that's the reaction you'd have if you just killed a man in cold blood. What a dead-faced actor she is.
In fairness, Chris, self-defense.
okay, you still killed somebody. Do you realize, I mean, not only did she kill them, she just pulled off a driving maneuver that she trained for months to be able to do.
She almost baited him into his death.
Yeah. And saved, why? Nothing. No reaction at all. Terrible acting is all I can say. I believe she went on to be cut from Charlie's Angels after this.
Yeah, I think she did one season.
Yeah. And then they were like, no, she also has this, never mind. I've already said enough demeaning things about women in the show. I'm not going to comment on her toothy grin. So I guess I'm done.
All right. Well, so the fiddler dies and everyone goes home. As we said at the top, it was an all-star cast. There was an unmentioned role that I think is worth noting. George Hamilton has a supporting but substantial role as Jan's husband, from whom she's separated.
Yeah.
He works at a rival station. In fact, the station that scooped her on the fiddler story.
Yeah, and he's a very unlikable character. He's just awful to her the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in time and over the years, comparisons have been made between this film and one called Duel, which was also made for TV, but 8 years prior.
Mm.
And it was an early work by Steven Spielberg, which also featured an unseen trucker who terrorizes a particular motorist.
Okay, I've heard of this, but never seen it.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Now, anything you'd like to say before we rate it?
No, there was another clip that I'd hoped we'd see, but we're going to have to search for it. So we'll stick that in at the end of the show, but it's something I want us to talk about because it will be a future episode. You know what I'm talking about, of course.
I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
In fact, okay, we can do that afterward.
Yeah.
Actually, it's right here. Isn't that this?
That is what we're seeing. Yeah,
Okay.
it's right after this. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then why don't we just watch this?
Yeah, let's watch this.
Okay.
Then Ted Serum is making the Frankenstein monster crazy on Struck by Lightning. Both have Wednesday looking good.
That's
Tomorrow
it.
on...
It was a short-lived show called Struck by Lightning that features, I don't even know if we want to get into it. It lasted 3 episodes. Apparently they made 11, but only showed 3, which is that company must have lost a lot of money. But I feel that the pilot is available for us to see, and I'd like to do that on a future show.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should watch that.
And not next week, because next week will be our Christmas special.
Yeah.
Yeah, so make sure you tune in for that.
All right, well, in that case, anything else you'd like to say about Death Car on the Freeway before we rate it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, would you like to rate it first?
I don't really have anything to say. I'm just going to give it 2 Meredith Baxters. It wasn't unentertaining, but I mean, you're not mistaking this for good. So,
yeah, I agree. I'll give it 2 out of 5 Meredith Baxters. And my personal reason, I probably would have rated it higher because, as you said, it wasn't unentertaining. I did enjoy certain aspects of it, but let's face it, last week, and part of the reason why it's been so long since we've done a show is because I was violently ill.
Yeah.
So I was not enjoying watching this. And then just my health just took a turn.
But you're doing better now, right?
Yeah, much better, much better.
And I'll say this, Steve, if you're going to do a thriller like this, and that's the category I guess you would put this movie in, it really helps to have like a big reveal at the end. And we never even see this dude's face. You know nothing about him other than his name and that he owns a van. There was no sense of any mystery or anything like that. And I love a whodunit, and this was not that at all. So it would have been higher if it had some elements of that in it. Oh, do we rate these things out of 4 or out of 5? I don't even remember.
Out of 5.
Okay. It doesn't change my rating. I just don't remember.
All right. Well, in that case, is there anything we didn't talk about you might want to talk about?
No, I don't know. World Cup?
All right. Do
you care about soccer? I don't care about it at all.
I enjoy it. I don't have anything to say about it, though.
I believe England plays France tomorrow.
Well, that would be fantastic. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah, that's like England is the one team I can kind of get behind because the United States isn't going to win. Who are we kidding?
Yeah, but usually the U.S. and England, they end up out of it right around the same time.
Yeah, here's the thing I don't get. We saw Wales do reasonably well. Wales is how many people live in Wales?
Not many. I'd say under
couple hundred,
under 2 million.
Yeah. Why do they have their own team? Scotland has their own team. They should just have a UK team. Maybe they could actually win this darn thing. That doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's a matter of pride, to be honest.
Well, pride at losing? I mean, you could have a real shot at winning if you pulled, maybe Scotland and Wales contribute. I mean, they got to contribute something. They made the World Cup, right? So I don't get it. I don't get it. But I'll still be rooting for England, even though, let's be honest, I'm probably not going to watch it.
All right. Well, in that case, I think we did it. Thanks so much, Chris. Thanks, Jim. I'm Steve Rees. Ask everybody.
Ask you all.
Tigers.
Tigers.
Either one, we did it.